From Russia, from the Russian government, they were talking about trying to keep up to speed with the advancement of technology and also localization. So technology and localization were important. And then the other vote, which was another one which kind of, I think is a bounce back from our vlog that we did in Kuala Lumpur last year, where I said, do you think Islamic Finance should change its name? I didn't say to what, but this was following on from...
Yes, no question.
Yeah, like fears of Islamophobia, stuff like that, like negative press. Are people getting on board as quickly as they should be, Muslim or non-Muslim? 65% said no. 35% said yes, they should change their name. Now, okay, so then they're not changing the name, they won the vote, but 35%
One out of three.
Significant number of people who feel that, and I interpreted it, we had a discussion which said not enough branding and PR is being done to communicate to the end user and to the wider community what Islamic finance does in a language that they can understand.
So, I mean, with that, you have the 1 out of 3, and I can imagine some of them, people are like, no, we're not going to change our name.
Yeah.
You know, that's who we are, we're going to take a stand, and you're
Islamic Development Bank said that, Dr.
Adnan.
No, Adnan is from
the CEO.
We all put a ticker tape.
Samir? No. Sorry.
You know what? I've got jet lag. They were changing my speech notes right up until 5 minutes before we went on stage. So, you know. Yeah, they said don't change the name because they've been in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
If you're first into the space and you've nailed your colours to the mast, then it's really important that you maintain on that trajectory, right?
I mean, and if there is good interaction and engagement as well with Islamic finance from Muslims who may not be practicing, from non-Muslims, then that shifts, it changes.
Yeah.
Right? It just has to be more PR, more positioning, and there just has to be more favorable engagement.
Yeah.
And I think after that, it's still 2 out of 3.
Do you like that building, by the way?
Colorful.
Whoa. Okay. So
what are your thoughts, like in being here in Kazan? Your first time here in Kazan?
First time in Kazan.
So what are your thoughts on the culture, the people, the audience? Is, the imagery, I don't know if in America it's the Russian stone cold face. Like, do you get that here? Are people welcoming? Like, what's your take on things just from...
So there's no pressure because whilst you're asking me this question, what you can't see on the other side of the lens are lots of people from Kazan. He's like, what do you...
just watching us.
I really like it here. No.
What does you?
No. I actually like it here because if we look at the investment department and the ministry, spent a lot of time with Talim and Alina, and they've really gone out to try and attract foreign investment, infrastructure, R&D. We've got the Football World Cup coming here, soccer to you. This is the sporting city. There's lots of ideas flying around, lots of ideas, innovation. So I was interested just to see the idea of it not being so much of a conference which is just an audience where you're preaching to the converted, where it's all Muslims and you're saying, aren't Muslims great? But it's like there's been diversity in the audience, people from different backgrounds.
Yeah, there was clergy. I mean, there was clergy from
Orthodox clergy in the front row, right?
Yep.
And you had senior delegates represented from key countries. Yep. How many countries have we been to where they say, the president's going to come?
What's really interesting about Kazan is they really, in their promo, in their, I guess, presentation of their country, whether it's in video, pamphlets, it's always this, we are a city. We are a group of people. We are a region
and
that
going
really
places.
Prides itself on how Christians, Muslims, and others get along well. And what's interesting is that speaking to some people in Kazan, what I took from it was the one point that, look, people talk about diversity, but what's really interesting about Kazan is that the Russians, who are typically Orthodox, Christian, and the Tartars, who are ethnically Tartar, but they're typically Muslim, is that they actually intermarry. So you can talk about diversity, but here in Kazan, we actually marry each other. Christians are marrying Muslims, Muslims are others. So we want to celebrate our diversity, and they always present it. And wait, I also want to touch back to a point.
So I'm sorry. I just want to ask, you can't see the... If I say Islamic in Russian, is it Islamski? That was cool. Islamski.
But you also have,
Islamski.
you have
Okay.
your book. You had a press conference for your book release.
Yeah, they printed off a banner.
September 2018.
Yeah.
Talk about that. Like a little bit about it if you'd like to. If not,
We can do another vlog on it, but I think it was good that I was able to have a press conference talking about the new release of my book, Halal Branding, halalbranding.com. Go and check it out. And people were genuinely interested in what's in the book. And I'm happy because when we were designing the cover, you know, the team at the firm, I had this vision of it being like a kind of Soviet Lazitsky geometric art style mixed with newspaper print. When you see the cover, you see what I mean. And then I come, and it fits right into this part of the world. And you look at the Football World Cup poster, and it's very similar. And I'm like, because for me, there's a large community of people here that aren't being spoken about, right? So I was very clear about explaining that my book is for any type of person, regardless of their religious observance or denomination. It's designed for business people to show them how to make money. It's not a Sharia handbook, right? And it was interesting that people were asking all sorts of questions like, okay, you know, my own personal journey, my industry experience, academic experience. And we even spoke about the book that you're doing that's coming out at the end of the year. And it was,
through money.
it was really interesting. I guess the other thing as well is that we underestimate the standard of English language here. It's good.
It is, but there are a lot of people also that don't speak English.
No, but I mean,
because we've been to other countries where we can go through the bazaar and we can talk to everyone. The bazaar here, it's like, do you speak Tartar? No. Do you speak Russian? No. And it's like we look at each other.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? When you go to Malaysia, it's a former British colony.
No, but you're talking about like the level of English. I don't think that. I don't think what you think. I actually think like, man,
relative to the size of this country, and the size of Russia, and the amount of travel that some people have done, where when you speak to a lot of people that have great English accents, and you say, have you been to the UK? And they say, no, yet, or something, right? So think about it, like their understanding of our culture and engagement is massive, because I noticed that in Iran as well. There are people that have never left Iran that can speak perfect English through their consumption of culture and media, television, YouTube, films, albums, songs. It's immense.
So, being here, right? And you haven't really told me what you thought, like the imagery, the different stereotypes that you have. Coming here, are some confirmed? Your take on the culture, the music, the food.
Do you know what? It's hard for me because my kind of path of discovery started back in '99 when I came to Central Asia before I became a Muslim. So my mind was blown back in 1999. Right, and kind of like just thinking about
literally it was blown back because he was doing some wild stuff.
And I guess you're on that discovery now, right? So because you've not engaged in this part of the world, like when I say people are tall, people are
tall here. People are big.
No,
you have to think from in the south is Dagestan, where Khabib the Eagle's from, right? Khabib, who UFC champion, he's from Dagestan. Right? So these are like rough and tough people. So to me, like I'm trying to lead you to an answer, I do get this stoicism on their face. They really don't smile. They really don't show their feelings that much compared to other regions. We go to Southeast Asia, everyone's giggling, smiling, hey, take selfie, like very engaging.
I know. But people take selfies here too.
Not as much as Southeast
Asia. No,
it's
changed.
Not as much.
No, I think that
the reason why is because in Southeast Asia, no one has ever said, hey, can you take a picture of us? Nah, they all automatically go for the selfie.
Okay, but then Russia is like the capital of extreme selfies. Do you know how many fatalities occur through extreme selfie taking? A lot. The government had to issue an advertising campaign saying stop, like, extreme selfies, like side of a cliff, gun to the head, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
If you were speaking at this conference, what would you like to talk about?
What would I talk about?
What message would you give to this audience?
Dealing with this audience, it's interesting because halal lifestyle.
Yeah.
One of the thoughts that I was I think about Islamic finance, and there was a point that like brought up another point that, for example, if an area wants to tap into Islamic finance, you've got to make the first step. Meaning, if you want the countries from the Khalij, Southeast Asia money, you want to tap in. If you're from Canada, Paraguay, India, and you want in on the Islamic finance market, you've got to put in first.
Okay.
Luxembourg has done it. England has done it. Great Britain, Hong Kong, South Africa, they've done that. And in return, Dubai, Qatar, Saudi have put their money in there. So it's interesting because when I think of business, it's like if the Chinese have a philosophy, which we actually covered all these pictures. Give before you take.
Okay.
So my thing is like in terms of presenting to the world what we have and going into other cultures. And I think that's actually key in terms of strategy, business, life, that if you want something, you've got to give first. Give before you take.